Number one, we're talking about a new gel that breaks alcohol down
For your hair?
in the body.
Oh, yeah.
So essentially, in a nutshell, and I may go off on a tangent here, so fair warning. This new gel is essentially designed to break down the alcohol in your digestive system before it reaches the bloodstream.
Ooh.
Why does that matter? Surprise, surprise, because alcohol overall isn't that great for your body, right? It doesn't fuel it in a positive way. What it does to the brain, right, is it, as most of us know, is it releases that dopamine, gives us that euphoric state of mind, but it's a catch-22,
Yep.
right? Like most habits, addictions, whatever you want to call it, that feeling of euphoria, it only lasts so long, right? And you can never get that high again. And eventually more alcohol leads to less pleasant thoughts and emotional swings like anger, depression, etc. So, gel, breaking down alcohol in the body. While I support entrepreneurship,
Yeah.
I kind of do the on this one. I don't really care. That's no offense to them.
Yep.
Good for them. Go out and get it. It's an innovative approach to just getting in on the entrepreneurship game. But it's hard for me because if you don't want to drink, don't drink, right? Or figure out a way to drink in moderation, right? And I think that's always going to be the ultimate advice. So ultimately with these, you're just drinking to enjoy the flavors, which is great, right? And that's a big part of the art of the craft brew industry, is right?
Which is
like
cool.
enjoying those flavors beyond just this I want to get drunk type of mentality.
Yeah, and I get that.
I do too. So there's that. So for me, it just breaks down into like the gel. It depends on your perspective of what healthy is.
Yeah.
Is really kind of where I went off here. And for example, it's like spending all week telling myself these terrible negative thoughts and then expect to go to my therapist and I'm going to feel better after 2 hours or an hour, how much I can afford to pay them that week, that they're going to make me feel better, right? Which isn't true, which ultimately at the end of the day, I have to stop telling myself these negative thoughts in order to start feeling better, right? So that's how I feel about gel breaking alcohol down in the body.
Yeah.
So if I just want that flavor, then I should just go and have it for the flavor, right? And not worry about alcohol effects on the body.
Or again in moderation.
Yeah. Again, not just poo-poo on these guys. It's a cool article. It's a cool thing they're doing. Not my cup of tea.
I'd be interested, like, long run, what other studies or discoveries come out of it because of it. I could see this being, like, the first step to solving a bigger problem, but this isn't necessarily like the dream bigger problem they're solving. It's just like making sure it's working. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what that next step would be, but I could see where maybe there's something like bigger and bolder in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'll give them one more kudos. It is like all made out of like whey protein. Basically, they're just freaking
Get jacked.
So I was like, so I should just drink more protein shakes?
Yeah.
Question mark.
That's interesting. Would have been a great one for Dr. Dan when we asked.
Article is included below in the link, as it usually is. So looking forward to your thoughts on that.
And our second brew news story of this week is about Athletic Brewing. And we've talked about them before. But this one's a little bit special because they just took over the Ballast Point headquarters in California.
Right.
Which is massive, right? So, I mean, a lot of people joked and never would have thought that NA beers would have come to fruition, kind of similar to eating a gel that makes the NA makes the beer NA within your own body.
Right.
But not only are they number one non-alcoholic beer sales in the nation, probably the world, but the 10th largest craft brewery by volume in the country, and they've seen a whopping 62% growth year over year since last year. And now they're hitting us with another bombshell. They're taking over this massive facility in California. It's a 107,000 square foot facility.
Huge. Canadian.
Huge. Which includes a 300 barrel and 150 barrel brew house, a cellar, packaging line, a Q&A lab, business offices, and a bar and restaurant component. Getting fancy.
Oh, yeah.
The goal is to fully utilize the space with additional brand new state-of-the-art packaging, which is capable of doing 1,200 cans per minute.
Wow.
Because they're kicking so much ass that they're just like sloughing out cans like crazy.
I know there's some in the fridge upstairs.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yep.
And, getting new brewing technology to enhance sustainability. Go them. Love that. Reduce the water consumption. And increase the maximum brewing, which currently is about 500,000, and they're doubling that to 1,000,000 barrels per year.
That is wild.
It's huge.
That's
It's
so
a
much
massive
NA.
increase. They're not taking it over right away.
No.
It's about a year and a half ish
Something
that
like
they're going
that.
to take over.
Yeah.
Someone is still doing the Ballast Point brewing. It's a contract brewing. They haven't announced it, so it's still going on.
Yeah.
Still some pieces, but I mean the big takeaways is they're still growing so much in a craft beer space that is kind of struggling, and they're kicking some major ass. So kudos to them. That's awesome. That's a huge growth. That's a huge facility. Maybe someday we can go take a tour.
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing.
That'd be cool, huh?
Yeah, that's incredibly impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, 500,000 barrels a year is no freaking joke in and of itself. But to go to over 1,000,000, right? Like,
I wonder if that takes them out of craft. I don't remember where the barrel space is for craft. I know I've said it before, but I don't remember it off the top of my head.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's a huge growth and great for them. And just I can't imagine putting that kind of own investment back into yourself. It's crazy. That's huge. That's a big ass building. And we were talking about how the Grapefruit IPA was such like a groundbreaker in the IPA world.
Yeah, just yesterday.
Yeah.
We were talking about the Mount Rushmore of IPAs,
And
right?
that one,
And
that was on there.
the Sculpin.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
now they're like no moss, the contract brewing. It's crazy.
Mhm.
Crazy world.
There you go.
Anyways.
Anyway, good for the NA industry, right? It proves
Good
a
for the
huge
industry,
point,
yeah.
right? Like, yeah, I mean, it just that's just growth and evolution right there, right? Like the people chose not to drink, so guess who moves into one of the larger facilities, right? Especially on the West Coast.
Yeah.
All right.
Good for them.
Pretty cool. Way to go, Athletic. Okay. So we got to tag team this one a little bit.
That's
so
fair.
we're going to talk about the Kelce Brothers. Why? Well, because everybody else does, so we wanted to get in on the fun. But this is also super fun. Ultimately, we're trying to catch their attention. Chelsea sent them a very lovely email. We want to do a beer challenge with them, so we're shouting that back out to them.
That's good. I ain't scared.
But what we're here to tell you about today is that the famed brotherly duo has taken a controlling interest in the garage beer brand. You may have read about this. You may have seen this. You may have heard this.
Yeah.
They are basically anti-IPA. It's all about light lagers, right? And
you bet your ass the punishment when they lose is going to be drinking a bunch of IPAs.
so investing in the beer industry right now, I wouldn't necessarily say is a slam dunk, but it's not a bad move, all right? Especially when you consider that Americans are still now searching for their favorite light lager, right? Why wouldn't you jump all over that?
Tivoli jumped all over that, right? Like literally people are trying to find the next light lager.
Yeah, and Modelo had its time in the spotlight. It is not in the sun, right? So to speak.
Best.
Motherfucking Hulk Hogan, America's real beer. He jumped on it.
All I can think about is Ashley at Remy. Stop.
Leave it. Just so happy right now.
I know, but she's running a whole flow on this.
Okay.
It's gonna be all choppy. Are you done?
Yeah.
Anyways,
Reminds
to
me
the
of
next one.
Ashley.
yeah, but that's not gonna cut well.
All right. Shoot. Where was it? Okay.
The Kelce Brothers.
Okay. So I don't even know how to get. Okay. So like, there's this overwhelming urge to jump into that light lager spotlight, right? To be America's light lager brewer. So as we all know and have come to love, the Kelce Brothers have made a name for themselves in the podcast world. Not to mention their multiple Super Bowl championship rings. Well, not Jason, but Travis. Sorry, Jason. But
one.
Yeah, he's got one. He doesn't have multiple.
Then he
Just
lost
saying.
it.
Yeah. He had lost his ring.
Yeah, we'll get to that later.
Okay.
We won't, but you and I can get to that later.
Anyway, so from my point of view, they are the epitome of all-American brothers from opportunistic Ohio.
Yeah.
Genetically built for America's game of football. They love it. So you can't argue with their passion. Oh, and they're actually pretty good. Remember we said Super Bowl championship rings. So these all-American brothers really embody that frat guy, that party guy, that dad, right? Like Jason is like such a good dad. So I feel like
Girl dad.
he's a girl dad. And of course, they love light lagers, right? It's the classic American dream beer. They represent a classic American dream. Why wouldn't they represent a classic American light lager?
Yeah.
You mow the lawn with it. You watch Sunday sports with it.
Shotgun it.
You shotgun it. You celebrate with it for them. And they invest in it. That's how all American those guys are.
Yeah, I love it.
Anyway,
It's a great.
I had a really
piece.
fun time thinking about that today.
How American
how
it is.
American it is. Like it's
Right next
it's
to Hulk
beautiful.
Hogan.
Well, you know, like Hulk's a little old, but I dig it. I like it.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of WWE growing up. Anyway, so
I hope they get more involved than just being the brandery, like Ashley from Bierstadt talked about when we did her interview, that they're not just gonna like go up and do the like, oh, let me like drink off the tank and really have nothing involved with it, and instead like really support and embrace the community, because it is a really beautiful, great community, and
really
and I
is.
hope they
We're
can
excited
sit
to
in
have them.
and appreciate that and be part of it. And yeah, like we want to challenge them. We are challenging them to a sports beer drinking challenge, and I don't know if you guys
see how that
saw
goes.
my beer chug. See that right there? I'm not scared of shotgunning a beer. I just did a softball a couple nights ago.
I am. Don't ask me to do it.
Yeah, Liz
It'll end
isn't
up
doing
all
that.
over
Yeah.
me.
But anyway, it's a virtual challenge, and we want to raise funds for a good cause,
Yep.
really support diversity and women within the space, and get their backing. I mean, they not only do they have the capacity of making a big difference in this space, but including being extra supportive for minority groups and showcasing their support and expanding the space. And we all know that this space has room to grow. It just needs a little shakeup. And so I love it. I'm super excited about it. I hope they get back to us. I hope I get to beat Jason in a chug. We saw
Either one of
Travis. We saw him try to chug that beer on the stand. That wasn't that impressive. Let's go, Jason.
Guess what I'm not going to do? Challenge them on how far to throw a football.
No.
Or a push-up challenge.
Yeah,
That's not going to freaking happen.
We thought about a push-up challenge. I was like, that's a terrible idea. We
Can
don't
I
have
do
a
it from
chance.
my knees?
Maybe like we do squats and they do push-ups, and maybe we can win.
I could probably hang on a squat challenge.
Well, if they're doing push-ups.
Exactly. All right. Enough of
Anyways,
that.
yep.
Anyway,
That's
super
everything.
excited for that. It was fun. Can't wait to tag him.
Let's go.
All right. You get number 4.
Oh.
So much fun.
Oh, yeah, well, sad story, blah, blah, blah. But he died, right?
Yeah,
His
I died.
hospital. Is passing because he was placed in trust for children, but the trust cannot finish support.
We can keep it or lose it. I feel like... And,
We
and this
probably
is a
have
cut.
pictures from here. We
Yeah,
should.
I put them in the folder.
Oh, thank you.
2 of them.
Thank you.
Not of our faces. So you would have to look for yours. I try to include a lot more pictures of you and I doing things since it
Cool.
is our podcast.
Yeah, and we have been to a lot of places.
We've done a lot of shit.
We've drank a lot of beer.
Up to you if you want to leave it.
Yeah, I think I'll put it in. 2
All
seconds. Got a burp.
Oh my God.
Sam, that is not meant to be put in there.
There was a troll that emerged from beyond the bar.
Okay, well, Liz made it funny again. Patreon behind the scenes. All right. So, in our final story of the brew news is a little bit sadder note. Cascade Brewing in Portland, which is a brewery that we have been to and we absolutely love, because as you guys know, we absolutely love sours,
Yep.
especially in the summertime, and they are shutting their doors. Most likely not permanently.
Most likely permanently.
You do, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of leaning that way.
Is it leaning that way now? I
Yeah.
know before when I was reading it, it wasn't quite leaning that way. Basically, the owner passed away. Super sad. He left the brewery to his kids in
a trust.
In a trust, and they can't financially support to continue the operations.
It's a bummer.
It's like the House of Sours
Yep.
in Portland. So the reason I'm optimistic is maybe it doesn't say under their name is that I have a hard time believing someone won't pick it up. Like, it's such an iconic brewery. They've done such incredible beers that I'd be super, super sad to see that not happen. I mean, sours I
that's a
feel
good
like have
point.
kind of dwindled, but man,
Yeah.
sours are so good.
Yeah, they're saying sours are dead. But I don't know about that.
I hope not.
But
It'll
I
come
like
back
that you
up.
said that. Again, the article is below if you want to read into it. I definitely read into the more poignant part of the story in that, like, the kids, like you said, just couldn't financially support it anymore. But also, like, apparently there was supposed to have been a sale of the brewery and brew house like 4 years ago, but the details of it were never finalized.
COVID, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, well, get your will done. Make sure that shit's cleaned up before you die.
And
but
he
you
did.
don't know when
And he
that's going to happen.
Yeah. I'm guessing it wasn't that old.
Yeah, he was 80.
Oh, well.
I mean, he's
up
older.
There. That's up there.
So, that's my dog.
That's my...
Anyway,
Sounded like you were saying that about the old man.
Yeah, that's my dog.
My dog Blue.
Aren't I go way back? That's not true. But I will
Blue,
say,
you're
like that is definitely a place that sticks out to me for sours, right? So that was like the summer of 2017. I hadn't had a whole lot of sours at that point, and then it was a couple years then until we actually went to Cantillon and Tres Fontaine over in Belgium. So like I gotta kind of put that in like one of the first big sours that I ever had, and we also went to the brewery over there that year as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Nightmare on Brett Street.
No, wrong place.
What place is that from?
The brewery.
That's what I just said.
Yeah, the brewery they have the big dark sour, but it's not Nightmare and Brett.
Who does Nightmare and Brett?
It's local here. I think it's not Odell. It's Belgium, maybe. Odell.
Well, anyway, you can cut that last part, but I really think it's important.
Crooked Stave.
Crooked Stave. Well, sure. I thought they were hiring, actually. I was like, Yeah. Anyway, they're definitely a core memory for sours.
I can't remember the name of that dark sour. That was like my favorite dark sour.
I thought it was Nightmare on Brett.
No, that's what I usually get locally because it's like the best local dark sour from Crooked. I mean, not
brewery.
just from Crooked, but
anyway.
yeah, I can't. Oh, no, lost it. It'll come to me randomly. I'll shout out the name in the podcast.
Remembered. What is she talking about? All right, let's conclude our brew news. I think that turned out really well. We're okay. We don't want to redo anything.
That's fine.
All right, cool.
So that's it for this week's episode of the Brew News. I hope you guys enjoyed the topics and the latest updates from around the craft beer world, because we did for the most part, minus the Cascade Brewing. If you have any topics to cover or feedback from today's segment, feel free to reach out. Don't forget to subscribe and tune in to next week.